No right not to be vaccinated.
You have no right not to be vaccinated.
You have no right not to wear a mask.
You have no right not to wear a mask.
You have no right to open up your business.
You have no right to open up your business.
You have no right not to be vaccinated.
You have no right not to be vaccinated.
You have no right not to wear a mask.
You have no right not to wear a mask.
You have no right to open up your business.
You have no right to open up your business.
You have no right not to be vaccinated.
You have no right not to be vaccinated.
You have no right not to wear a mask.
You have no right not to wear a mask.
You have no right to open up your business.
You have no right to open up your business.
You have no right not to be vaccinated.
You have no right not to be vaccinated.
You have no rights in the USSA. Ladies and gentlemen, the Constitution has been suspended because of the Wuhan supervirus, a virus that they released from their bioweapons facility. It's a war crime to use bioweapons in a war, but that's what they've done. They've declared war on you. This was the footage that everyone got to see in January. It was clear that this was a bioweapon, but right now the governments are blaming their scientists for erroneous information. You didn't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out what was going on in China in January. And they waited until March to lock everything down. And the reason is because they wanted everyone infected so that they could mandate their vaccines and their cashless society and their new world order. You're nothing but cows grazing in the pasture, waiting for the slaughterhouse. Moo, cows. And now they've surrounded you with death towers. More vaccines are coming your way. More chemicals, more pesticides. They're going to be spraying you like bugs, ladies and gentlemen, because you have now become their virus. They infect you, and then they tell you you have no rights because you may infect somebody else. Everybody's been infected by this bioweapon, ladies and gentlemen. And now they're just going to come around and tell you what we already know. Everyone's infected. It's going to be a pretext for liquidation, for death camps, and the like. And we're learning that these hospitals have become the makeshift death camps. They're liquidating people in these hospitals. Nobody can go, no witnesses, and they just say it was COVID, ladies and gentlemen. And this COVID seems to be like a myriad of diseases. It's probably not just one virus. It's probably not just one thing. It's probably the death towers causing some of it, and the virus is causing some other parts of it, and they're all calling it the virus. How many of you out there have had a personal experience in this virus, with this virus? Don't answer that question. You don't want to be on their red list, but you already are if you're a patriot or a Christian out there. Again, this was some of the footage that we were seeing early on in the outbreak in January of 2019. And it turns out that they knew about an outbreak raging in Wuhan way back in November, and they were selling their stocks and telling you that everything was going to be fine. They misled you, ladies and gentlemen, on purpose, because they were trying to infect you. And that's really the bottom line. These people released a bioweapon. That's a war crime, by the way. They released a bioweapon to infect you so that they could force you to take their vaccines and to participate in their new world order society. Welcome to the new world. Welcome to your new normal. And this virus will never go away. It's airborne AIDS. People will continue to get reinfected. What is the video guy doing out there? People will continue to be infected. And, you know, while their vaccines, quote unquote, are showing promising results, antibodies are not proof of anything. They have HIV antibody tests out there, and yet that doesn't make people immune to AIDS. Here's a very disturbing picture of the future. Mandatory vaccines, mandatory testing, door-to-door wellness checks. You must comply. Ladies and gentlemen, you have no right to say no. You have no rights anymore. And the plans are right now, it's surfacing in, various states, but we're starting to see what they're planning, what the song is that they're singing. And they are going to extract people from their homes if they test positive. And right now, the story just seems only halfway there. But it's getting there. And every week, every month, it's going to get worse. Remember, at the beginning of this lockdown, they were telling people that, this would only be temporary. It would only be for a week or two, and then we could go back. Then it was like 2 weeks became a month. 1 month became 2 months. 2 months is now seeming to go on forever in states like California, New York, and many other places. It's never going to stop. And, we told you early on in this outbreak that it would progressively get worse. In fact, everything that we've pretty much covered has come out to be true, ladies and gentlemen. What is this? Look at this. What? Oh, boom, bitches. How many people saw that in the news? Never. You saw it now. You saw it now. Dangerous pandemic conspiracy video is spreading. How can it be stopped? How can they stop you from speaking, ladies and gentlemen? Well, mass censorship, free speech zones. How about house arrest? That's an excellent way to get people to stop talking about things. You've been banned everywhere, even from the streets, at least in some places. But you're going back. You're going back under house arrest. The second wave is coming unless you stop them. This July 4th, the Boogaloo. Bring the guillotine. Occupy these state capitals and these governors' mansions. Don't let them continue to pass emergency laws to abuse you. They've weaponized government. It's a crony system. It's just this little group of people, this little group of Republicans and Democrats that get to be our president, that get to be our representatives, that get to be our judges, and nobody else. It's just these two little cult members going to Bohemian Grove or going to Podesta's place, Epstein's Island. We've got all sorts of shocking things to talk about. And could you believe, Dershowitz, Epstein, attorney extraordinaire, and he's like, oh yeah, you can't refuse the vaccine. You can't refuse the deep state. You must comply. You must accept the brain chip. Quit sucking Elon Musk's dick out there, ladies and gentlemen. That's the quote. Pardon the language. Of course, that's sodomy, ladies and gentlemen. But in any case, this guy's going to chip you into the matrix. The obedient always think of themselves as virtuous rather than cowardly. Isn't that a quote? Many quotes out there. How many of you have been awake since 9/11 or thereabouts? Haven't you seen enough? The Operation Northwoods, the other Gladio B events? How about the Las Vegas Illuminati massacre? How many more genocides do you have to see before you start getting the hint? Don't you understand? They're poisoning the water, the food, the air. They're spraying you with their virus. They're surrounding you with death towers. What don't you understand about the situation? Maybe the Georgia Guidestones wasn't written in your language. Do you not know what that is? Do you not know what's going on here? Are you failing to understand? Can you not reason that crazy people do exist? And there's different types of crazies out there. It's not just the people talking to themselves at the train station. But you've got the, full-blown psychopaths that appear normal. but they're really out to get you, like the movie American Psycho. And that's basically what we're dealing with. There is no reasoning with these people, and there is no understanding how these people ended up the way they did. But we must accept that they exist, that serial killers, psychopaths, criminals do exist, that they're in charge of this government, and that they're out to kill you. You must accept the obvious. As painful as it is, as much as you want to like the people you see on television, you must accept that these people are trying to get you. No reasonable person would erect a death tower on school property. No reasonable person would fluoridate your water or mandate vaccines that turns your children into retards, pardon the expression. No sane, normal person would do that. No sane, normal person would sexualize your children in schools. No sane and normal person could see videos like this in January and wait until March to lock everything down. If they were going to do a genuine lockdown, it would have been in January. But instead, they waited until everybody was infected. Then they placed everyone on house arrest, so to deprive you of sunshine and fresh air and anything that might resemble a cure, they're against it. Hydroxychloroquine appeared in Nature magazine, and they were like, oh, that's Trump's solution. And all of a sudden it became crystal clear, what was going on here. This virus was put out there to overthrow this government. Once again, you thought the coup d'etat by the FBI and the Russiagate was bad. Look at the situation now. But that doesn't excuse this president from letting this virus in. And what we're learning is that Mike Pence was directly involved with Operation Dark Winter. That was the anthrax attacks that was coupled with 9/11. Now, if we know 9/11 was an inside job, what does that make those anthrax attacks? Not only was Mike Pence involved in Operation Dark Winter, but so was Tom Daschle, who had a key role in Event 201. And all of a sudden, we're starting to understand what's going on here, all of the players that are involved. And again, they've unleashed a bioweapon on the entire world. That's a war crime. These people qualify for the death penalty. And so you know that you'll never get the truth, because not only is the government implicated, not only are the Republicans and the Democrats implicated, but so are the news networks. So is the propaganda arm of this New World Order. They are implicated in the delivery of this bioweapon. It would not have been possible without the mainstream media telling you, you don't need a mask, just wash your hands. There is no virus. It's just the flu. They told you everything that they could to basically set you up for infection. They are as guilty as the Chinese. This government and the media in every New World Order country is as guilty as the Chinese. And given that this is a war crime, ladies and gentlemen, the punishment is death. They must be put to death. There must be a speedy trial. They must be arrested, but they won't be arrested by the FBI. They'll have to be arrested by the 3%, the Boogaloo crews out there. And if you're not organizing for the Boogaloo, you might as well apply for Chinese citizenship, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll figure out who wasn't there. We'll figure out who didn't show up. Well, maybe we should go back to this. Contact tracing group funded by Soros, Gates, and has Chelsea Clinton, Luciferian Clinton of the Church of Satan, on its board. And that's what all these people have in common. They're cult members. That was fully exposed in the WikiLeaks. And what do? They don't arrest the child molesters. They arrest Julian Assange. That's why you know they're not going to arrest the guilty, not for this bioweapon attack or any other Gladio B attack. Ladies and gentlemen, lockdown zealots are behaving like cult members, psychotherapist warns. No kidding. If you go to a party, you will go to jail because of coronavirus. If you are in jail, we will let you out because of coronavirus. And what is this? If you should test positive for COVID-19, HHS may deem it necessary to remove all of your children under the age of 18 and place them into foster care where they can be raped by the care homes, and that's what they're set up to do. For there is not a just man upon earth that doeth good and sinneth not. Ecclesiastes 7:20. Be sure to check that out, ladies and gentlemen. Know the Bible better than your favorite song. It's on audio. A link is in the video description. And, you know, what else can you say? What else can you say? Except that the whole system is rigged. And not just in like a weird, you know, kind of way, but in a freaky kind of way. Of course, the video guy is on vacation. We're going to have to reload that scene. The Matrix is trying to interfere with our broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. Very difficult these days, but it's definitely, oh, the video guy. It's definitely spooky. These politicians are spooky. And what are the chances that, you know, cousins are debating each other, part of the same fraternity, and that's your only choices for president? Who remembers the Skull and Bones versus Skull and Bones election? And even the 2016 election, it was cousins again, debating each other for president. Now, these people you're seeing on the screen right now, they're different people. They're clones. We have the names there somewhere. You know what I mean? Jennifer Carpenter, Hope Solo. It's just on and on. Clones, nothing but Westworld, nothing but cousins, nothing but cult members. It's worse than they live out there, ladies and gentlemen. What is going on? That is the question. What we know for sure is these people are trying to exterminate you. They're terraforming the planet. They've released their bioweapon. That's a war crime, and that's punishable by death. We know that this Justice Department is not willing or able to carry out justice. Instead, they cover up the crimes. Do not expect this federal government to arrest itself for its war crimes. That is left to we the people. And the date has been set, July 4th, 2020, the Boogaloo. Get your crews ready. We need 100,000 people in every state capital, ladies and gentlemen. And that's really not that many people total. 5 million people total in the entire United States of America. Divide that up by 50 states. 100,000 people per state capital, and we stay there until there are no more Republican or Democrat tyrants left to pass emergency laws that would screw we the people, suspend the Constitution, and or deprive us of life, liberty, or the pursuit of happiness. Will this virus ever go away? That's another question. But this new world order can go away. All we have to do is pick a date and be there. There is no army that's going to stop 100,000 patriots set up in Boogaloo crews, ladies and gentlemen. And, you know, day one is the occupation. Day two, we're going to start building a perimeter. And, you know, if they want to pass their emergency laws, let them try, ladies and gentlemen. And you're not going to get a second opportunity at this. The second wave is coming. You've seen HR 6666. The door-to-door search and seizure of your loved ones is coming. The wellness checks are coming. And all you can do is prepare, ladies and gentlemen. Prepare and be there. Now, do you believe in free speech? That is the question. Let's listen to this clip if we can.
They happen to
But are you denying that the gas chambers ever existed?
But I'm saying if you believe in freedom of speech, you believe in freedom of speech for views you don't like. I mean, Goebbels was in favor of freedom of speech for views he liked, right? So was Stalin. If you're in favor of freedom of speech, that means you're in favor of freedom of speech precisely for views you despise. Otherwise, you're not in favor of freedom of speech. There's two positions you can have on freedom of speech. Now, you can decide which position you want. With regard...
First, they came for your free speech. Then they start coming for your guns. And now they've come for everything else, ladies and gentlemen. And you can tell them by their fruits. You knew when they were setting up Gladio B events to disarm you that, you know, it was looking like bad news. And even this administration started going in that direction with the bump stocks and the like. Did you know that this president worked for NBC for 11 years? Ladies and gentlemen, a lifelong Democrat, a friend of Epstein and company, cousins with Hillary, really no different than anything else we've seen. We just thought it might be different. But they've been planning this since before the 2016 election. Everything that people went through over the last 3 years, the Russiagate, Ukraine, etc., was just to keep you distracted for this. And they knew all along this was coming. And they didn't tell you, ladies and gentlemen. Instead, they preferred to infect you with their virus so that they could mandate their vaccines, bring in their cashless society, and solidify their positions in society. Who's going to compete with Amazon now? Who's going to compete with Microsoft and Google now? They've set themselves up to be forever imperial masters, ladies and gentlemen. They've set it up so nothing will ever change. They will be the rulers of the world forever. And they're trying to, basically etch it in stone at the expense of humanity. Scientists create the most advanced human-mouse hybrid embryo ever. With as much as 4% of its DNA, this chimera embryo of mouse and man is an abomination. And, what gives them the right? It's not just because they can do something that means that they should do something. But if you understand what these people are really about, then you understand why this makes sense. These people, this New World Order is anti-creation. They're anti-Christian. They're anti-life. They are doom. They are death. They are legion. They are a hive mind that is trying to wipe out humanity. And this is a war. They've declared war on you. I don't know what you people are doing out there, but you're not acting like you're in a war. You see people trying to go to the beach and party and have a good time and just try to get their old lives back. Don't you understand what's going on? How stupid can you be out there, ladies and gentlemen? And we don't direct that to the nice people in our audience, but to our fellow countrymen, how stupid can you be out there? They've tried to infect you and kill you with their super virus, and you just want to go out and party. Well, you better party at the Boogaloo July 4th. Come party with the Boogaloo crew, because we're tired of this New World Order. They've committed war crimes. They've declared war. They want a war. They're going to get a war, ladies and gentlemen. And whether you realize it or not, war is coming. You can't just bio-nuke the entire country and infect every American and there's no war. You can't just let this virus in and then claim to be the superhero with your vaccine and your Mark of the Beast chip. That's not the way this is going to work out, ladies and gentlemen. Are you going to be there for the boogaloo? You better get everybody involved. Tell a friend, tell a neighbor. Let them understand. They tried to suspend your 4th of July. Take it back. That's our Independence Day. They've suspended our Constitution. They've tried to destroy this country. It is a full-blown attack. It's red alert. It's DEFCON 1. And people better start marching towards these tyrants before it's too late. And you just have to wonder, I mean, how stupid can people be? They're just sitting there watching the television, waiting to see what happens next. Do you want to know what happens next? Ladies and gentlemen, it's the second wave. It's the forced extractions, the liquidations, the death camps, the FEMA camps, the medical martial law. Total tyranny. And, you know, with people under house arrest and the Luciferians fully in charge, with no hope of ever, you know, getting back to a normal life. People must stand up to this tyranny. They must show up for the Boogaloo July 4th. You can find this graphic on our website, stfnreport.com, or on our Twitter feed. Feel free to like and share and to copy it everywhere. Feel free to mirror this content. Get people involved. See if you can recruit Americans to save America. Forget about the libtards. Forget about the retards. Forget about all of these crazy people. Recruit people that can show up with the gear and operate. Ladies and gentlemen, don't settle for second best. We only need 100,000 people per state. Start a page, get people organized in your state, mirror all the content that makes sense, start pushing people's buttons on 5G, vaccines, and the like, and let them understand that this is a plandemic, that these people have been planning this for years. They've been setting you up, and now America has fallen into their trap. And, you know, soon it'll all be over. The clock is ticking. Time is precious. It's not just a state of emergency at the federal level. It's a state of emergency in every American household. Life will never be the same unless you stand up for this country, unless you stand up for what's right. Do you think these people on television care about you? Do you think they're serving the public interest? Do you feel served and protected by these people on the television? You have to wonder what we spend these billions of dollars for on intelligence and the like. There was a full-blown outbreak happening in Wuhan in November, in December, in January, and they still did nothing. How long does it take? Now, we know that the Defense Intelligence Agency was trying to warn everyone, every agency, but they didn't want to listen. The White House didn't want to listen. Why? Because this was part of the plan. You couldn't see these videos. You couldn't unsee these videos that were coming out of China. There was no mistaking that this was a very serious situation, and that chances were the outbreak had already begun in our country, and they didn't let anyone know. And that really seals the deal in the prosecution, because they were warned. It was obvious. There's no excuses. But you can see right now how the governments are maneuvering in the mainstream press. They're trying to blame the scientists. They're trying to blame erroneous information, ladies and gentlemen. And no scientist could look at these videos, could see the reports and say it was anything but an airborne virus that escaped, that was released from the lab on purpose. And, you know, what they're saying now is just, you know, is just part of their defense strategy, because they know what they've done is a war crime. They know that what they've done deserves the death penalty, and you know that's not part of their plan. Their plan is not to get convicted on war crimes. Their plan is to, you know, kill you, ladies and gentlemen. And you know they're well on their way. Everybody's been infected with this bioweapon. There's no telling what, this virus does in the long term. We've got some ideas, but essentially they've already murdered everyone on the planet for the most part, except for the people that have the real vaccine. And so time is precious, time is limited. Now, we've listed quite a few things in the video description as far as managing this disease. We highly recommend that you view it and take notes. But at the very, bare minimum, you should be getting a magnesium supplement, a zinc supplement, vitamin C supplement, as well as plenty of sunshine, plenty of fresh air, and, every day. Ladies and gentlemen, don't ask us what the video guy is doing. Obviously, just hypnotized by the videos. If you're just joining us, check this out.
You have no right not to be vaccinated.
You have no right not to be vaccinated.
You have no right not to wear a mask.
You have no right not to wear a mask.
You have no right to open up your business.
You have no right to open up your business.
You have no right not to be vaccinated.
You have no right not to be vaccinated.
So the Epstein New World Order crew says you have no rights. You're no longer Americans. Check this out. Whitmer confirms she is in talks about being Biden's running mate. And that's exactly what we need. I'll be honest with you. Who's going to tolerate a government like that? You've got a pedophile and a Nazi witch out there running the show at 666 Pennsylvania Avenue at the tip of a pentagram, just across the way from a giant obelisk, Egyptian, mysticism and the like. I mean, who can't wait for all of that? And it's exactly what we need to make this country implode. And so there's a certain part of us that should be rooting for a Biden-Whitmer presidency, because nobody's going to stand by and watch that happen. There'll never be an inauguration 2021 with a ticket like that. Who's going to let these people get sworn into office? Ladies and gentlemen. Another pandemic, two trailblazing COVID-19 researchers dead in a month, being reported by Zero Hedge. The penalty for treason, ladies and gentlemen, is death. 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 Check this out. Gaydation poisoning. No joke. And the graphic is still up there. We don't know what's happened there, but the censors must be on vacation. Nice information here on the health hazards of wireless communications. And of course, it's radiation that's just zapping your brain. Growing evidence on vitamin D and COVID, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure to get plenty of sunlight. Nothing beats the real thing. Bill Gates admits 700,000 people will be harmed or killed by the coronavirus vaccine. They're laughing at you. Boogaloo, July 4th, bring the guillotine. Ah, American freedom. Made in China, bitches. Trump threatens to keep World Health Organization funding freeze in place after White House investigation. So here's an example. Quote, President Trump released a blistering letter to the World Health Organization stating that his administration conducted an investigation that confirmed the health body's multiple failures in the early stages of the coronavirus outbreak. So they're just passing the buck. They take no responsibility for infecting the entire country and, basically imploding the entire country. No responsibility and no leadership, really, in what has to be the most pivotal crisis in U.S. history. And they totally just, dropped the ball, and they were asleep at the wheel in the best case scenario. But knowing what we know about Operation Dark Winter and the Pence connection, we can now say that this had been planned since before the election. And no matter who had won the 2016 election, this pandemic was coming. And that's all the more reason to get rid of this election despotism. All of these elected Republicans and Democrats need to be banned from public service for life. The party's disbanded. And, you know, when we say elected, we use that term quite loosely because you really have like this false choice, you know, from a very small group of people, and nobody else can get in. You know, America is locked out of the political system, and the only way you get into, you know, these political parties is by basically going through the casting couch, Epstein's Island, and the like. And so these people are not duly elected, they're essentially appointed for a fake election. And that means, you know, this government, like previous governments, are a fraud. They're fake, they're illegitimate, and, you know, the fruits of their administration can be nothing but illegitimate and the like, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we're learning that Trump is on the hydroxychloroquine. Macron loses his majority in the French parliament. According to mainstream media reports, they have defectors, and the whole system is beginning to crumble. I think we've got... Oh, hey, you remember that time when you said you were going to lock Hillary up, but you locked all of us up instead? That was awesome, ladies and gentlemen. Why can't you just, you know, see the situation for what it is out there? You know, there's so many people that woke up just to go back to sleep with this administration. What else do we have? Contact tracing chaos, as 3/4 of IT experts predict the NHS coronavirus app won't work. Of course it won't work. And health officials warn the outbreak cannot be stamped out from call centers. And that's why they're going to have to go door to door and be more thorough. You know, these death camps are coming. New government. Okay, now the government blames scientists. So the British are doing the same thing. They're blaming the scientists. They're passing the buck. And he said, that which cometh out of the man, that defileth the man. Let's read that again. And he said, that which cometh out of the man, that defileth the man. For from within, out of the heart of men, proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, murders, thefts, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lasciviousness, an evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness. All these evil things come from within and defile the man. This is a list of evil things. If you see these things, you know these people are evil. Blasphemy, for example, ladies and gentlemen. I hope none of you are doing the OMG like the cult members. Pride. Who's got more pride? Who's more narcissistic and conceited than this president? You can admit that, ladies and gentlemen. You can tell them by their fruits. All these evil things come from within. And remember, these coffins are for you, ladies and gentlemen. That's how they spend your tax money. Buying coffins to bury you with. Not only that, but they buy these coffins to kill you. And they spend our tax money on viruses to kill you. And they spend our tax money on fluoridating the water to kill you. And they spend our tax money distributing vaccines that are out there to kill you. Do you understand what's going on out there? Can anyone understand? The media sees the boogaloo as a serious call for violence. You know, if 100,000 people show up, there doesn't have to be any violence. Who's gonna stop them? Really? 100,000 guns at the state capitol pointed at anything that looks like a libtard? Who's gonna show up? Virus restrictions fuel anti-government boogaloo movement. according to Voice of America, which is a government franchise. They're getting concerned, ladies and gentlemen. Why is it anti-government? You know, they say anti-government as if this was a legitimate government, as if the system was legitimate, as if what's going on out there is just some weird twist in fate. This was a plandemic. They chose to release this virus to exterminate citizens. These people cannot call themselves government. They can call themselves tyrants, dictators, murderers, but they shall not be referred to as government. And so virus restrictions fuel anti-tyranny. Boogaloo movement would have been more accurate. You have to wonder what country these people are from over there at Voice of America. They must be Chinese. They must be communists, ladies and gentlemen. Politicians should be paid minimum wage. If they're, if this is their career, obviously there's something wrong here. They're not trying to contribute to society. They're trying to, rape and pillage society. This corpse-looking woman, who's not a medical doctor, but a doctor of philosophy, gets paid $465,000 to kill people in Los Angeles. She makes more than the President of the United States salary. Not necessarily this president, but the salary of president is $400,000 a year. She makes nearly, 20% more than the President of the United States salary. For what? To kill people. And, this is essentially
the most.
Let's see if we can, these were the scenes at the beach. People would rather go out to the beach than organize for their independence, for their survival. I mean, these cows, literally cows, are just grazing in the pasture, waiting for the slaughterhouse. Look at that. No hope for them. Don't count on them to help you, ladies and gentlemen. They're part of the problem. And, this virus has come for them. The COVID family. Have you seen these spooky people around? I mean, you could almost see the devil horns on Lightfoot there. See that? Pay attention. You'll see more and more of that. They've got the mark of the beast on their foreheads, ladies and gentlemen. They can't totally hide it. And
millions more will file for unemployment. Small businesses are dying.
Yeah, well, that's basically what's going on there. French COVID drones grounded after privacy complaint. If there's been one country that has been going after the big tech companies, it's the Freedom Fries. Not only did they not want to go into Iraq and genocide innocent people, but now they're supposedly grounding the drones that will be surveilling people. And they're going after, the big tech companies and the like. But, they've essentially faced the same problem as everyone else. A dictator that's let the virus in. A dictator that made sure the people couldn't protect themselves. A dictator that has betrayed their people and murdered countless, tens of thousands of innocent civilians. War crimes, ladies and gentlemen. And that essentially brings us back to yesterday's news. Check out our video archives. Check out stfnreport.com. That's our website. If you're on Facebook, check out our Facebook page, STFN Reloaded, and share the videos directly from there. And we're looking for people to mirror on Instagram and wherever you can. So mirror our content, get this information out there. We appreciate everybody tuning in. And we'd love to say hi to everybody in the audience. Is anybody out there? Did we find you? Looks like there's a few of you out there. Big shout out to everyone. And if you're watching this on Facebook, you can find the live stream on our ScrewTube channel, Stranger Than Fiction News. Big shout out to Sean Ames. How you doing? Pat's Place. Tony T. How you doing, brother? Boss Forever. Peter Emerson. How's it going? Alien Hunter. Death to the New World Order. Michael Higgins. Mr. Terry's van. What's going on over there? Nina, what you doing? Drenger, or is it Drenger? I'm going to say Drenger, but don't quote me on that. Does it matter? How's it going? Desire for Liberation. Boogaloo, July 4th. Fritz Cat Bar, what's going on? Unknown Comic. Get known out there. Be a superhero in your community. Organize the Boogaloo. Afisha, how you doing? Fells, 11. I'll just say Fells 112. And many more. Shafiq, how you doing? Granny Page. And to all the regulars out there, much love. Check out the live show. Karen, I want to say hi to Karen, of course. Corona Respecter, what's going on? Bellicose Hyperbole 737. And many more. And many, many more. Appreciate you guys finding the broadcast, and we'll check you out next time. If you don't have an EMF detector, shop around. We recommend the EMF 390. We think it's the best one for the money by far. And you can find that information on our website or in the video description or on our Facebook feed. Until the next time, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to this, Boogaloo bitches, you are